The government's giving out husbands 20 coins each. All the village girls went to grab themselves a man. I didn't go. Because I was reborn. I know that poor little cripple nobody wanted to buy will become the all-powerful regent in the future. He'll betray my love, surround himself with wives and concubines, imprison me for 10 years. I don't dare buy him anymore. I just want to live peacefully. But I never expected that same night the village chief came knocking at my door with a smile. Wan, you want a husband or not? I slammed the door shut. Standing by the door, completely stunned. Must be seeing things. I'm reborn, so how am I seeing Pei Jutang again? The village chief pushed the door open, looking at me with displeasure and confusion. Wan, what's this about? You think he's damaged goods nobody else wanted? No problem, the village chief will give you a discount. 10 coins, how about it? The village chief said this while dragging me outside. He pointed to that man leaning against the wall, extremely weak, speaking quite generously. Don't you love pretty young men? Look at this one, so handsome. Sure, he's a half-dead cripple, but clean him up and he'll work just fine. Jutang was badly injured, his face dirty, clothes torn. Looking truly miserable. Leaning against the wall, he quietly looked up at me. His eyes innocent and vulnerable. Yet somehow his gaze made me shiver for no reason. No, village chief, if nobody buys him, can't you just send him back to the government? I thought since I didn't go, Pei Jutang would have been sent back to the government by now. How are you delivering him door to door? Clearspring Village sits on the wild frontier between two warring nations. Most men were forced into military service and never returned from battle. The weather and soil conditions are harsh. The old, weak women and children can barely handle the heavy taxes and grain levies. Government lacks money and grain, so sometimes they put on a show of caring for the people by sending over some criminals exiled here for hard labor. 20 coins gets you a strong laborer for your family. So whenever the government sends people, there's always a mad rush to grab them. In my past life, I went to on the same day. Had no money, just went to watch the excitement. Never expected to accidentally get such a steal. 10 coins for a severely injured, but extremely beautiful little cripple. Everyone in the village laughed at me for being stupid. This guy's so hurt, forget helping with work. He might not even survive. Even if he lived, his eyes were cold and proud. He wouldn't be easy to handle. I didn't listen, brought him home, and carefully nursed him back to health. What he expected was that the little cripple not only survived, but treated me incredibly well. He served me tea, studied for the imperial exams, built his career for me. Well, no, to be exact, not for me, but to deceive me. Because it wasn't until his wedding day, as regent, that I finally woke up. It turns out he was only good to me back then because by marrying, he could escape slave status, take the exams, and leave Clearspring Village. All that love and sweetness, I thought we shared, was just endurance and humiliation for. This man never loved me. What nonsense are you talking? How could the government take back people they abandoned? The village chief was also troubled. Every year there's a mad rush with nothing left over. Never had this headache. Who knew this year we'd hit a snag with one cripple? This guy's stuck with us now. No way we can send him back. The village chief finished speaking and looked at me, seeing me silent and staring blankly, thinking I found it too expensive. He gritted his teeth. 5 coins. Can't go any lower. Village chief, this isn't about money. 1 coin. Village chief, I really can't take this guy. The village chief interrupted me with displeasure. When I took you in back then, I didn't say a word, did I? I immediately had nothing to say. The hardest debt to repay is a favor. Once you owe one, you're always one step below. All these years practicing medicine in the village, treating countless ailments, saving so many lives, still couldn't repay the village chief for taking me in during that storm. Village chief, I sighed and agreed. I didn't notice. Pei Jutang, leaning against the wall, lowered his eyes and showed a look of relief. Stop looking at me like that. Wrapping cloth around Pei Jutang's chest, we were extremely close. Our breathing seemed to mingle together. Without looking up, I could feel his gaze on me. Pei Jutang. His clean, delicate face showed a confused expression. I tied off the bandage, cut the excess with scissors, stood up, and stepped back. My expression indifferent. Don't call me that, just call me Miss Chin. But you bought me. Pei Jutang's tone became urgent. I should marry you. How so eager? Afraid you can't marry me and escape slave status. Those with slave status should remain slaves for generations. But now if someone buys and redeems them, they can change to farmer status. Clean, fresh style. Such opportunities are once in a lifetime. No wonder he'd use every trick. The candlelight flickered as I looked into Pei Jutang's dark eyes. This man truly had the most beautiful eyes. When he looked at me like this, it was easy to get the illusion that I was the only one in his eyes. Too bad it was fake. I'll help you escape slave status. But not as a husband, as a brother. From now on, we're siblings. Pei Jutang immediately frowned, his voice low. Siblings? I smiled softly. Yes, siblings. In my past life, I was stupid and overreach. On his wedding day, I packed my bags and left heartbroken, planning to return to Clearspring Village to live out my days. But he brought troops to intercept me and forcibly took me back. He frowned, looking extremely tired as he sighed. Wan, you should understand, my regent princess can't be some country village woman. Stop making a fuss and come back with me. Except for the princess title, I'll give you everything else. Of course I refused. But would he listen? He imprisoned me in a villa outside the capital, kept me like a nameless canary in a cage. kept me for 10 years, until his princess could no longer stand it and forced her way in, and had me drowned. Pei Jutang's chest heaved violently several times, his tone cold and hard. I won't be siblings. I looked up at him strangely. What? Still want to use me as your plaything when village life gets lonely? Pei Jutang, you're really something. No way, we can't be husband and wife. Why not? Because I have a fiance. I lowered my head and touched the lover's knot at my waist. Everyone says he died in battle, but I believe he'll come back. Pei Jutang's eyes suddenly trembled violently as he sat up from the bed. The movement was 2 seconds. His freshly bandaged wound started bleeding red again. But he didn't cry out in pain, just stared at me intently. His eyes as cold and obsessive as in my past life's later years. You have a fiance? I looked at him without flinching, my expression calm. Yes, I do. I really do. His name is Xiaoheng, the eldest son of the wealthy Xiao family in town. We met at school and grew up together, childhood sweethearts. 4 years ago, Xiaoheng was forced to join the army. He left and never returned. This kind of thing is common at the border. Over time, there's an unspoken understanding. 2 years with no return means the engagement is void. So me buying Pei Jutang wasn't really improper. Later, living together day and night, I was fooled by Pei Jutang's masterful acting, and left Clear Spring Village with him. When we left, Xiaoheng still hadn't returned. He probably really died. But it doesn't matter. If I insist on waiting for him this lifetime, who could say anything about it? Either be siblings or stay a slave. Pick one. I said this while raising an eyebrow, tilting my head to stare at Pei Jutang's gloomy face, sneering inwardly. Of course he's unhappy. After all, a sister can't be used for pleasure or warming the bed. And indeed, after hearing my options, Pei Jutang's lips immediately pressed tight. His gaze on me was restrained. The candlelight's flicker reflected in his dark pupils. His chest rose and fell several times, his throat bobbing up and down. He almost squeezed out 2 words from his throat. Siblings. Not surprising at all. I smiled slightly, packed up the medicine box, and headed outside. Before closing the door, I looked back at him. Rest early, brother. Pei Jutang's fists immediately clenched tight. The door closed and the room fell into silence. Among the crackling candlelight came Pei Jutang's dark, low voice. Huh, brother. That night I dreamed of my imprisoned past life. First half trapped in Clear Spring Village as an orphan repaying favors. Second half trapped in the mansion as Pei Jutang's shameful, lowly mistress. In that short life of barely 30 years, I never saw bitter winter, refreshing rain, or the free and vast rivers and mountains. Sudden knocking pulled me from my dream. The moment I opened my eyes, I felt like falling from great heights. As my breathing settled, 2 words echoed in my mind: freedom. Wan Wan, I made porridge, come drink some. Pei Jutang's voice came from outside the door. My pupils contracted slightly as I formed a plan. Last night you said you're the son of a duke whose family was raided. The porridge is good, soft and fragrant. I looked up at Pei Jutang. So you can read? Pei Jutang nodded. Yes. Perfect. I pointed to the bookshelf in the study. There's a medicinal herb manual on the shelf. Later, please compare the text and illustrations in the book to pick out the noted ginseng and angelica from the medicine cabinet and put them on the winnowing baskets in the yard to dry. If I remember right, there'll be a money-making opportunity soon. I need to earn money to leave this place. Pei Jutang seemed surprised by my arrangement. After a pause, he looked troubled. But I'm still injured, and my leg. You limp around making porridge, you can limp around drying herbs. Anyway, I looked at him coolly. I don't keep freeloaders. Don't tell me it's true that you get what you pay for. The little cripple all the village girls rejected, so cheap to me, scheming with fake affection to use me as a stepping stone for his rise. Isn't that exactly getting what you pay for? Damaged goods bought for 1 coin. I can't treat him like a treasure, the way I did in my past life. He should do something for me too. Pei Jutang's expression froze, quite complicated. I couldn't be bothered to figure it out. I just looked at him coolly and got up to leave. But my wrist was suddenly grabbed. Pei Jutang looked at me somewhat anxiously. Where are you going? I didn't say I wouldn't do it. I smiled and needled him with my words. The house suddenly has an extra mouth to feed and an injured leg to treat. Don't I need to gather herbs to earn money, brother? What I didn't say was, leaving Clear Spring Village and traveling the world also requires money. Though I practice medicine daily in the village, this tiny village where you can cross in 3 steps is all familiar face. Payment with a block of tofu or some vegetables is normal. Some even just smile and consider that payment enough. So my poverty isn't an act. Pei Jutang limped back and forth, drying herbs. His limping figure looked pitiful no matter how you look at it. I sighed, feeling slightly guilty. Working so hard. How about I offer you something? Pei Jutang stopped moving. After a moment of silence, his was very soft. Don't call me brother. Call me Jutang. Guilt withdrawn. I pursed my lips. No, I don't understand why he's so obsessed with how I address him. As you calling him back could change something about our relationship. In my past life, I clung to him calling his name sweetly. But he'd frown and call it annoying, telling me to call him brother in public. I indeed remember correctly. 5 or 6 days after this, the restless barbarians began frequently attacking the border. Many soldiers and townspeople were injured or killed. Notre ginseng and angelica root, these 3 herbs for stopping bleeding, are in short supply. Market prices have jumped over 20 times. For miles around, my courtyard has the most herbs in stock. But I didn't raise my prices. I want to make money, but not off a national crisis. So I set some rules, daily limits on people and quantities. I won't sell medicine or treat patients beyond that. But even so, I'm exhausted every day, can barely get up. After seeing off the last patient, too tired to walk back to my room, I just collapsed on the stone table in the courtyard and dozed off. I slept deeply, no idea how long. What woke me was pressure on my lips. Someone seemed to be sighing softly, carefully brushing against my lips, then pushing further, invading bit by bit. I frowned in annoyance, whimpered, and slowly opened my eyes. Pei Zhutang was standing beside me, his hand covering his nose, clearing his throat. Wan, time to eat. I blinked in confusion, touched my lips. Couldn't tell if it was a dream or real. Must have been a dream though. Pei Zhutang wouldn't have any reason to steal a kiss. This is bone soup from Aunt New next door. She said it's perfect for making broth. Try some. Unlike my past life, the one cooking and eagerly hoping the other would take a bite isn't me anymore. It's Pei Zhutang. Simmered on low heat for 2 whole hours. Pei Zhutang ladled me a bowl of soup, eyes bright, watching me. The village chief wasn't wrong. The cripple really does have good looks. Once clean duck brows, dark eyes, broad shoulders, narrow waist, even in rough clothes, his build shows through. In just a few days, plenty of girls who didn't buy him are kicking themselves. But I don't want to look at his fake face. I just keep my head down, drinking soup in silence. The hope in Pei Zhutang's eyes eventually faded. Wan, you're so warm with everyone else. Why won't you talk to me? Is the soup good? The hot soup slides down my throat. I raise an eyebrow mockingly. It's good, so what? No one knows better than me that everything Pei Zhutang does has a price. Oh, I'll have to pay something to match his performance. In my past life, I gave him plenty and then some. But did he care? Pei Zhutang swallows hard, as if comforting himself. As long as you like it. The words sound so fake I lose my appetite. I set down the bowl and glanced at his leg, the one I broke and reset, now healing. What he wants from me is simple. Freedom from slavery, heal his leg, go take the exams. The first 2 are done, only the exams remain. But he acts like he forgot, hasn't mentioned it. So what's he after with all this tenderness lately? What else do I have that he could want? I frown, about to speak, when the door suddenly bangs. Very urgent knocking. Dr. Qin, please, save him. Save our Deputy General Xiao. There's clearly a sign on the door saying no patients after the hour of the monkey. Why is someone knocking at the hour of the dog? I stay seated, not planning to move. Can't set that precedent. Dr. Qin, I know you have rules, but I'm out of options. We're garrison soldiers, we got ambushed by the Shangnu. Our Deputy General took 7 sword wounds, he's dying. Every clinic in town is out of medicine, only you can save him. My heart sinks, I jump to my feet. Without another moment's hesitation, I rush to open the door. A soldier defending our country cannot die on my watch. 2 injured soldiers, carrying a man covered in blood. In the dim room, by flickering candlelight, the man lies on the bed. Breathing faintly, his face smeared with blood and mud. Can't see his features. I grit my teeth and tear open his black uniform. Something red and familiar falls from his chest. A love knot. Identical to the one at my waist. Oh right, the soldier said Deputy General Xiao Hang. My hands start shaking. I suck in a breath. Being reborn wasn't as shocking as discovering Xiao Hang is alive. Luckily, I stocked enough herbs. Luckily, my skills are good enough. Xiao Hang pulls through. After a night of high fever, he wakes the next afternoon. Xiao Hang leans against the bed, smiling weakly but gratefully. Long time no see. I really don't know how to respond to those 4 words. A past life missed, a new life reunion. We have so much to explain to each other. But somehow only those 4 words will do. Let me wipe your face. I look away, get up, take the towel from the basin by the bed, wring it out, sit back down, and gently wipe the blood from his face, revealing that handsome, spirited face bit by bit. Xiao Han glances down at his arms in slings around his neck and chuckles softly. When we were kids you wiped your nose on my clothes. Now you're wiping my face. Does that make us even? I carefully wipe his cheek. It's not the same. Can't compare. The door opens gently. Pei Zhutang appears with food. Seeing what's happening inside his pupils contract. His face goes cold. He limps over. Xiao Hang's not blind. He can tell the guy's mood is off. Wan, who's this? Pei Zhutang. I keep wiping. My older brother. Pei Zhutang immediately scoffs coldly, sizing up Xiao Han. But he should direct that. Oh, so Wan knows him. I stop and hand the love knot from the bedside back to Xiao Han. Then I look up into Pei Zhutang's eyes. Brother, this is Xiao Han. My fiancé who went missing and came back. The food hits the floor. The bowl shatters. Then my wrist is seized the next second. Pei Zhutang's face changes drastically. He yanks me up from the bedside. What did you say? My wrist hurts badly. I try to pull free but can't. The pain makes me irritated, my eyes flash with disgust. I said this is Xiaohang, my childhood sweetheart. My fiancé. Do you need me to say it again, brother? Pei Zhutang's pupils shrink sharply, as if scared off by my look. He slowly releases my hand and steps back a few paces, catching his breath. When he looks up again, his expression has returned to normal. Congratulations, Wan Wan, you finally found him. His words sound so calm and sincere. It makes my heart go cold. That's Pei Zhutang, he can bury his emotions deep. Pei Zhutang, the consummate actor. Behind the mask, whether she's holding a knife or candy, no one knows. And I don't want to know anymore. Pei Zhutang says nothing more. After cleaning up the broken porcelain, he gets up and leaves. The moment the door closes, a strange unease wells up inside me. It's based on what I know of Pei Zhutang from my past life, the calmer he gets after suppressing emotions, the more violent the storm brewing beneath. I can't shake the feeling that Pei Zhutang isn't emotionless right now. It's that his eyes look like he wants to kill me. Xiaohan suddenly speaks. I tilt my head, smile weakly, must have seen it wrong. He was clearly congratulating me. At least, on the surface. Xiaohan raises an eyebrow. Really didn't seem like congratulations, more like jealousy. I cut him off. Why do you still have the love knot? Xiaohan's words stop abruptly. His ears turn suspiciously red. He looks awkward. It's a token of our engagement. Wanted a keepsake. I laugh dryly. You disappeared for 4 years. The engagement's void. What keepsake? What do you mean disappeared for 4 years? What void? Xiaohan immediately looks serious, a bit hurt and frustrated. Didn't you write saying you found someone better? That you didn't want me. He lowers his voice, muttering quietly. I almost died on the battlefield that day. I freeze. What letter? The moment the words leave my mouth, something clicks. I can't help but laugh coldly. I've got a pretty good idea. I really thought you changed your mind. Xiaohan looks at me resentfully. In the dim candlelight, the affection in the young man's eyes is unmistakable. My heart skips. I suddenly realize this reunion isn't really fair. Because for Xiaohan, our separation was only 4 years, him from 16 to 20. I'm still the childhood friend he grew up with. Still the person he's held dear since he first fell in love. His feelings are still in that fervent stage of first love. But for me, it's 30 years in a past life, a feeling long gone. In that timeline where I moved forward alone, I'd already buried him in a place in my heart called first love. Then I fell deeply in love with someone else. Now that time's turned back. How can I live up to his youthful devotion? Xiaohang falls asleep. I rub my aching shoulders and head back to my room. But the moment I push the door open, a hand shoots out from inside and yanks me in. My body slams against the door. I stare in shock at Pei Zhutang pinning me down. Pi Jitang, why are you in my room? What? Not calling me brother anymore? Pei Zhutang raises an eyebrow, a cold smile on his lips. Completely different from the man of the past few days. More like the him from my past life has come back. I take a breath, my voice drops. If you're my brother, you shouldn't barge into my room. Let me go, get out. Pei Zhutang laughs, nodding in agreement. Right. A normal brother shouldn't. But I never wanted to be your brother. Pei Zhutang smiles shamelessly and openly. My intentions aren't. He tightens his grip on my waist, fingers tracing my neck, sliding along the artery. A chill crawls up my spine. I almost feel like he's deciding where to bite down and kill me. Wang Wan, you shouldn't have made me angry. You're reborn too, aren't you? Every hair on my body stands on end. I stare at Pei Zhutang in disbelief. So shocked I've lost the ability to speak. Is this possible? Hurts a little, Wan Wan. After being reborn, you chose not to buy me. You didn't want anything to do with me. Guess you really do hate me. I was a bastard in my past life. I didn't protect you, didn't treasure you. It wasn't until after you died that I realized all the fame and fortune I chased meant nothing compared to you. When I was reborn, I was overjoyed, even when I realized you were reborn too. And you were desperately avoiding me, pushing me away, giving me the cold shoulder. It was fine. I deserved it. I'd take it all. I was ready to spend my whole life chasing you, making it up to you. I'm changing. I'm trying. Wan Wan. Pei Zhutang's expression can't just be called obsessive. It's a twisted, calm madness. But how can you have someone else? How dare you actually want to be with someone else? Being trapped feels just like the imprisonment of my past life. I don't even want to say another word to him. I shove his shoulders with all my strength. But Pei Zhutang suddenly grabs my wrists and pins him to the door. The door slams with a bang, piercing the quiet night. From next door comes Xiaohang's confused voice. Wan Wan, is everything okay? I open my mouth, but warmth lands on my neck. Pei Zhutang kisses my throat slowly, laughing low. Why isn't Wan Wan answering? Tell him you're in your brother's arms. Being kissed. Being touched. Tell him your brother's been in that bed he's lying in every night, thinking of you to find release, to fall asleep. All warmth drains from my body in the face of such shamelessness. I'm shaking with rage. Past life, this life, how much more does he need to humiliate me? My neck was sucked hard. Pei Jutang pulled me closer. Wan, listen to me, let's start over. Talent get lost. 18. I'm so angry I actually started laughing. Start over, how exactly? Does being reborn suddenly make a country bumpkin like me good enough for our precious regent? Can you actually stop having a harem and stop locking me up in that country estate? It's ridiculous. Pei Jutang, what gives him the right to act so righteous? Thinking I resent him and hate him just because he failed to protect me. He's the one who used me and lied to me. He's the one who locked me up like some toy when he didn't even love me. All the pain I suffered came from him. I can. Pei Jutang didn't hesitate for a second. Wan, I never wanted to hurt you in our last life. I didn't know you cared so much about status. I thought you understood my struggles, politics or treacherous. You're too innocent. Marrying you would have hurt you. But that's all in the past. This life, you're the only one. I won't marry anyone else. If you don't like it, I won't take the exam. I won't enter politics. We'll just stay in Qinghuan village forever. Okay? Wan, trust me one more time, please. No. Ha, what struggles? I don't care. I don't accept it. I don't trust him. All I know is his so-called protection meant using me and deceiving me in my last life. It meant humiliating me for 10 years as a mistress, keeping me locked up. If stabbing me is for my own good, then I'd rather he didn't do me any favors. I can't handle it. Wan. My silence made Pei Jutang nervous. His voice got softer. Okay? Fine. My heart is cold. I'm speechless at such shamelessness. All that's left is a bitter laugh. We'll start from scratch. Hearing this, Pei Jutang let out a long breath. He held me like I was treasure. His arms were trembling slightly. Wan, you're finally back. 19. Chief, you wanna sang Larna? How about Pei Jutang? He's cleaned up now, not crippled anymore. He's handsome. Half the girls in the village want him. Perfect match for your Jiao. You saved my life. I don't care about money. I mainly just want to repay you. Wang Kun, how's that? At the village chief's house, I put Pei Jutang's contract on the table, smiling as I negotiated with the village chief. It's starting fresh. I chose a life without Pei Jutang. The village chief frowned, looking at me unhappily. Wan, what's this about? How can you return someone you bought? I calmly sipped my tea and looked up slowly. I say it can be returned so it can. The village chief's face darkened. He was about to scold me, but I added casually. Village chief, Xiaohan came back, did you know? The village chief froze. Toma. Setting down my cup, I smiled at the village tea. I remember your Jiao used to like Xiaohan too. She even cried and threw fits, begging me to give up my engagement to her. I felt guilty about refusing her for a while. Jiao always had that personality. If she wants it, she takes it. If she can't have it, she ruins it. But after I refused her that time, she never made a fuss again. I guess you came up with a clever way to calm her down. The village chief gave a stiff smile and mumbled something. Sweat appeared on his forehead. I found it funny inside but kept my face pure and innocent. Xiaoheng said he wants to visit personally to thank you and Jiao for being so gracious. No, that's not necessary. The village chief's face went white. He quickly pulled out a coin and gave it to me. I'll take Pei Jutang. No need to trouble young Master Xiao. He knows better than to offend the Xiao family. By the way, village chief, you saved my life once. I'm giving your daughter a marriage match. I'd say we're even. How about we write it down? Clear the debt. No more ties between us. So you don't come after me later with regrets. The village chief's lips trembled. His face changed colors, but finally he couldn't hold back. Ungrateful wretch. 20. When I got home, Pei Jutang was in the yard drying herbs. Xiaohan was lying on a chair nearby, sunbathing. It looked like a peaceful scene. But the conversation was anything but friendly. I'm not her brother. Pei Jutang spoke first after laying out the herbs. Xiaohan opened his eyes, voice lazy. Obviously, speak your mind. Pei Jutang got straight to the point. Name your terms. Anything. I just want her. Xiaohan laughed. Funny, I only want her too. Pei Jutang smirked, his words vile. Even though I was her first man. My face went pale. My fists clenched at my sides. My body shook. Shameless. How can you bring up past life stuff in this life? Tesk. Xiaohan frowned. Shame washed over me completely. Only worthless men use a woman's purity as bragging rights. Big deal being her first man. Was she your first woman? Pei Jutang came from a noble family. Personal maids were standard. How could I have been his first? Pei Jutang's face darkened, his earlier smugness vanished. Oh, she wasn't. Then how do you have the nerve to brag? Curled his lip in contempt. Couldn't even save your first time for the woman you love. Pathetic. I stopped breathing. Maybe I hadn't seen him in so long, or maybe Xiaohang seems so calm and mature now, that I totally forgot how wild and sharp-tongued he was as a kid. After that speech, Pei Jutang's face turned iron gray. Like they were about to throw down any second. Both of Xiaohang's arms are injured. He'd lose in a fight. I quickly made some noise and walked forward. Both men in the yard changed their expressions. Pei Jutang smiled at me first. Wan, we're almost out of herbs. Need to stock up soon. No need, don't bother. I've saved enough money. I was planning to save up 100 taels for the village chief, to repay him for taking me in before leaving. But now I don't need to. The debt's repaid, we're even. The 20 taels I have is enough for my first step. I've got medical skills anyway. If I run out of money later, I can earn as I go. Sigh, too bad I'm injured, can't help out. Xiaohang suddenly sat up from the chair and sighed dramatically. Really had to trouble brother here. Our brother's so capable. Wan and I are lucky. Pei Jutang narrowed his eyes, shooting a knife, sharp look at Xiaohang. Xiaohang didn't dodge, staring right back with equal force. Xiaohang. I rushed forward, stepping between them. Your injury's pretty much healed. Head back to camp today. My brother's foot isn't better yet, I'll take you back. How 22? Pei Jutang raised an eyebrow and smirked at Xiaohang. Huan choked, after catching his breath. He gave me a deep look, then turned and went inside. I shook my head. My waist was hugged from behind. Pei Jutang rested his chin on my shoulder and said softly, come back early. I lowered my eyes and didn't respond. Go to the village chief's tonight. He fixed your registration, you're not a slave anymore, you're registered as a farmer. Remember to pick it up. Pei Jutang nodded obediently, okay. 23. Xiaohang led the way himself. I took him back to camp. There are tons of enemy spies at the border, so our camp location is super secret. Without a guide, ordinary people can't even find the gate. This time I saw it. And I walked right in. Change this dressing every 2 days, keep your diet light. Don't get the wound wet. And no intense exercise or you'll tear the stitches. I changed Xiaohang's bandages while giving him detailed instructions. But after a while Xiaohang still hadn't said anything. I looked up and saw him staring at me with deep eyes. You really have to go? Does our engagement mean nothing? How can it mean anything? Xiaohang, I untied the lover's knot from my waist, trying to put it in his hand. Xiaohang clenched his fist and refused to take it. I sighed, either you give up your ambitions and desert the army, never fight again, or I give up my dreams and stay home alone. Becoming a lonely wife waiting day and night for you to come home. I lived that life for 10 years in my past life. I really don't want to do it again. I just want to be free. Xiaohang's face darkened. I smiled and tried to pry open his palm. Two people chasing opposite dreams should just let each other go. Xiaohang's fist suddenly relaxed. But he didn't take the knot. He wrapped his hand around mine and stacked. They're not opposite, Wan. When the country's at peace and doesn't need me to fight anymore, I can travel the world with you. Flung, as you're willing to wait. Xiaohang's eyes were bright and dark. The sincerity in them was unmistakable, just like 4 years ago. I lowered my eyes, feeling guilty. This childhood sweetheart romance got twisted by 30 years. I don't have romantic feelings for him. Seeing me like this, Xiaohang clicked his tongue and his rebellious side came out. I've been faithful to you for 4 years even after you broke our engagement. Your turn to wait for me. Plus this engagement can't be for nothing, I'm claiming special treatment. If someone ends up with you, I get first dibs. If I'm dead by then fine, pick someone else. I froze. Pause, I laughed helplessly. Where'd you learn to be like a scoundrel? Xiaohang pursed his lips, just tell me, will you wait or not? 20. I left camp the next morning. Xiaohang's stubborn side kicked in, he didn't come see me out. He said we'll see each other again soon anyway, no need for goodbyes. Just sit tight and wait for me to find you. Don't run too far, okay? The path down the mountain was lined with green leaves. I looked down at the lover's knot still at my waist, and smiled softly. I didn't notice that on the path ahead, Pei Jutang stood like a vengeful god, radiating furious energy. Not until I crashed into his chest, and he grabbed my neck hard. Qin Wan, how dare you? How dare you? Pei Jutang's eyes were bloodshot. His hand on my throat squeezed hard, but trembled badly. I kept hitting his hand, but it didn't help. My breathing got harder. My face started turning red. And just when I really couldn't breathe, Pei Jutang grabbed my neck and pulled me close, kissing me violently. Between pressed lips, I finally got fresh air. My chest heaved as I gasped greedily. My lips were brutally bitten. Pei Jutang kissed me like he wanted to swallow me whole. But just when I could barely stand, he let me go. Qin Wan, do you even have a heart? I waited for you full of hope, only to find out you sold me. This is your fresh start, a fresh start without me, right? Yes. I clutched my throat, breathing deeply. My eyes held no warmth as I looked at him. Does it feel good being used? Imagining a future with someone full of hope, only to find out it was all lies. Does it feel good? That's what you did to me in my last life. Pei Jutang's body shook. His clenched fists showed bulging veins. His eyes showed pain too deep to resolve. Finally, a bitter laugh. You're only this bold because you know I can't bear to hurt you. That's why you can hurt me so recklessly. Wan, don't push me. You know I'm not a good person. 20. His tone held a vulnerability he'd never shown in either lifetime. But it made me tense up like I was facing a deadly threat. I didn't dare relax. Don't push me either. I just want to leave you. Pei Jutang threw his head back and laughed, but a tear slid down from the corner of his eye. He sniffled and wiped away his tears, smiling brokenly. Oh, you really know how to tear me apart, Wan. Why? I explained everything. Why are you still leaving? Wan, don't you love me? How can you bear to abandon me? I know I messed up, but I'm making it right. I'm changing. Just wait for me, okay? We got this second chance. Can't we just wipe the slate clean and start over? I looked at the tears in his eyes and slowly shook my head. No. Can't wipe it away. Not every excuse or apology can earn forgiveness. As I shook my head, Pei Jutang's eyes turned vicious. He suddenly let out a cold laugh, his lips curling into a chilling smile. Fine, so you won't take the easy way, huh? Wan, you're forcing my hand. After Pei Jutang spoke, his eyes flashed coldly. He raised his hand to strike my neck. But I was faster. A flash of cold. The dagger I'd been gripping plunged into his left shoulder. Blood gushed out. If I'd known you were reborn too, I should have killed you the day I bought you back. Pei Jutang showed a bitter, agonized smile. He wiped his face resolutely, his eyes filled with hatred. Am I really that unforgivable? Last life, I gave you everything except freedom. I did all that. What more do you want from me? I just had no other choice. You gave me everything? I almost laughed. This man still claims he loves me, protects me. Did you ever think that you locked me up in the outskirts and wouldn't marry me because you couldn't face yourself? You don't love me as much as you claim. You just can't let go of my love and devotion to you. Because it had no strings attached, nobody else could give you that after you rose to power. But at the same time you couldn't face it, you wouldn't bring me into your mansion. Because my existence would constantly remind you that the mighty regent was once bought for 10 coins by some country woman. That he once fawned over and played games with this lowly peasant to get what he wanted. So he couldn't let me go, but couldn't face me either. He could only cage me away, not even worthy of a title. He didn't care if I felt humiliated. He didn't care if I was willing to be caged. He took away my freedom, betrayed my true heart, trampled my dignity and my life, leaving me with nothing but breathing. And then he had the nerve to say, he gave me everything except freedom. Gripping the dagger tight, I looked Pei Jutang straight in the eye. After you lose your freedom for 10 years too. After you feel that day after day despair and heartbreak. Then come talk to me about forgiveness. Actually, what I meant was there's no chance of forgiveness. We're not the kind who can just move on after forgiving. But Pei Jutang looked like a drowning man who'd finally grabbed a lifeline. His eyes brightened. He covered his still bleeding wound and actually smiled. Fun, 10 years. After that, I never saw Pei Jutang again. Didn't see Xiaohan either. I practiced medicine while traveling freely through mountains and rivers. As if afraid, I never stayed anywhere too long. But in the 4th year of my travels, I came to the matchmaker bridge in Guangzhou. The bridge was covered with red ribbons from lovers making wishes. Some looked new, others so faded you couldn't read what they said. I stood on the bridge from dawn till dusk. Only when the moon rose bright, and even the lantern floaters had gone home, did I finally sigh softly. Xiaohan, I kept my promise. So you can't hold it against me anymore. 4 years was my special exception for Xiaohan. Before I left the camp that day, we agreed to meet in 4 years at the Guangzhou matchmaker bridge. If the war was over by then, and he was still alive, we'd travel together. Today, he didn't come. I looked down at the faded red cord on my waist. I'd rather believe the Northern War wasn't over yet than think about the other possibility. Turning, I walked down the bridge step by step. The sound of galloping hooves came from the distance. I spun around to see Xiaohan in black riding clothes charging toward me on horseback, wild and free. The horse stopped, Xiaohan dismounted and stood at the foot of the bridge, breathing hard. He shook his head at me speechless. You're killing me, Qing Wanwan. Next time we make plans, seriously, ask first. You know Guangzhou has 12 bridges all nicknamed Matchmaker Bridge. I nearly died searching for you today. I stood on the bridge, looking down at the sweat on his forehead. I couldn't help but laugh. Much later, I can't remember if it was 10 years or how many years after, Xiaohan and I rode north to see the snowy mountains. Passing through the outskirts of the capital, somehow started following us. Not too close, just following. Never coming closer, never falling back. He wants to follow, let him. Xiaohan pulled me close and kissed my lips. One more witness to our happiness, not bad, right? I tilted my head at him. You know who it is? Xiaohan scoffed. You don't? Well, I do now. But it doesn't matter. But speaking of which, that liar. Xiaohan suddenly added. I raised an eyebrow, curious. What do you mean? Saying he was your first man had me jealous forever. Turns out, it was me. I looked down and touched my nose, blushing. Are we going or not? Going. Taking my wife and going.